All right, welcome to another episode of Changing the Narrative. I'm your boy Todd Simon, and this is
your cousin Cody Presley.
Let's go, man.
Let's do it.
And today, man, we got a very, very special guest in the building today.
Super special.
Born in Philadelphia, raised in New Jersey, high school graduate from Earlmo High School here in Columbia, South Carolina. 20-year healthcare professional, married for 7 years, a son that plays college football, the CEO of the Bhang Group here in Columbia, South Carolina. Just a place that helps our less fortunate people and families with urgent health care facility here in South Carolina. And if you can't recognize who we're talking about, then we're talking about none other than Prunetta Brunson, CEO of the Bhang Group, in the building with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
For the cloud with
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, it's too late.
Oh, yeah, I messed up already. Starting too early.
So,
first of all,
thank you.
I just want to say you are our honorary aunt. You know,
That's it.
Because took us under his wing.
Oh, thank you. Okay,
So
sounds good.
we're now family.
All right, wonderful. Can I borrow $5?
No, you're the aunt. You
Oh.
we got no authority.
They
Yeah.
must don't know times have changed. Then you say, what do we say? Changing narrative?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, just tell us a little bit. We had so much good conversation off record before we got started. So I'm really excited for this episode. So, just tell us how you got started in everything before you moved down to South Carolina. How you got started in healthcare and what your vision was and all of that in the very beginning.
All right. Well, let me just tell you. I'm still young. So, it was several years ago when I was in high school. And in Jersey, actually we had like vocational classes. So you were able to, kind of see what you wanted to do, whether you wanted to be in a studio, whether you wanted to be in healthcare, whether you wanted to do hair.
Right.
And of course, I love someone pampering me, so I know I didn't want to do hair.
Right.
But I went through the whole process of healthcare and doing nursing.
Okay.
So I took the classes for that, and the nice part is when you finish with vocational school up north, you can actually take and sit for boards and become a nurse.
That's great. Okay.
However, that wasn't my situation because my parents decided that they wanted to move to South Carolina my senior year of high school.
Oh, wow.
South Carolina.
There we go.
So it changed a lot of stuff. Changed the narrative. So, when I moved down here to Earlmo, I started back over again. I was like, okay, let me choose something that, my whole thing is I'm going to choose something that's going to make me some money.
Right.
When I graduate, or something that's actually going to get me a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose, y'all not going to believe what I chose.
What you chose?
Welding.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice.
Very, very.
Yeah.
Money, though.
Well, with welding, you can wind up finding a job. And also I looked at doing some research that, underwater welding made a lot of money.
Right.
Now, I don't know how to swim, but I knew that they made a lot of money. And I said, I can wear a life jacket or something.
That's all we learned how to swim.
And I said, I'm diving for dollars. That's all I was going to think about is I was going to do whatever I need to do. But, of course, God has a path that knows. He knows more than what you're thinking that you're going to do.
That's right.
So it actually, it happened where the guidance counselor pulled me out and was just like, we got to change your classes. Because, of course, I'm coming from up north, down south. Things change, Classes are different. Credits are different.
Correct.
So they pulled me out and she was like, I need to change up your classes. And I was like, okay, fine, She was like, well, the thing is you're going to have to take an economics class, you have to take a history class, you have to take all these other classes, and I don't know if I can fit everything in, you're going to take summer classes. And I was like, okay, I'll pay for some classes.
Right.
I mean, I had my little KFC job, making my little $5 and something an hour.
Let's go.
So she was like, oh, I don't know. She said, why don't you just drop out and get a GED and do it that way.
That's it.
You don't know who my daddy is. Everybody got to come home with a diploma, and it's only because when he was young, they didn't finish school.
Right.
He dropped down in 4th grade,
right.
So they helped the family. My mom, she dropped down in 10th grade. But I tell you, they were the best parents ever, of course.
That's right.
But they gave whatever they possibly could. Mm-hmm. But I knew I couldn't go home and tell my father that I was dropping out of school to get my GED. It was no way.
Right.
Now, I don't know about your parents,
Oh no, she ain't put my mom away.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a GED. I dropped out.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was in the street. Yeah.
Oh, but you went back?
Nah, I just got a GED.
You didn't go back? You got your GED, right?
I got my GED. I went to the military.
Well, that's okay.
Right,
Well, you changed the narrative.
I did.
Right.
I did. No, I don't feel bad at all.
Yeah, you changed the narrative.
I'm just thankful.
Yeah,
Right.
you got your head on straight. You changed everything.
Right.
But I just knew I couldn't go back to the house and tell my dad, well, this lady's gonna have me drop out of class and do X, Y, and Z.
But just the recommendation.
Yeah, that was a guidance counselor.
As a guidance counselor, come on.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah,
Who gives that kind of direction? Now, I will say I was in school and it was 2,000 of us, but only 50 of us were black.
Wow. I thought you were getting ready to say you was getting in trouble. You was trouble.
No. Not at this school. No, I wasn't a troublemaker. But the funny thing is, like I said, everything worked out because I refused. There was one thing I didn't want to do because I knew where my direction was. Right. I knew, my main thing is I had to get a certain kind of degree in order for me to get to where I need to be. Mm-hmm. And I knew in my mind I needed to be in healthcare. I wanted to be a nurse, and that was it. And I knew that I couldn't do that without finishing school.
Absolutely.
So I actually went to summer school, and I took.
You said summer school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I had to pay $300-something per class for a gym where we went bowling.
A gym? Oh no.
They made you take gym in summer school?
Gym and English, I think it was. But that's okay. I did it.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
I did it. I did what I had to do. Got my paper, and then I called myself being grown. I wanted to move out and go to school at the same time. Why was I thinking that? And my dad said, "Well, we're thinking about moving to Virginia." I was like, "No. See, what I was thinking about doing was coming back home while I tried to go back to school, but it didn't work out. I had to wind up staying on my own. And I tell you what, I didn't realize how broke you can be.
Right.
I actually looked at, I think it was $700. I got it down to the science. I think it was $700 something I was making every month. Mm-hmm. My rent was $309. My car payment was $184.75. Because I was a teenager, 19, $200 something for my car insurance because I had a ticket from high school.
Wow. And
I used to be like, well, how am I going to keep the lights on? Mm. Man, I used to be like, now can I turn the electricity off at the breaker? Can I condense this down so I won't have no, my dad was like, you can't turn it off. You got food in the refrigerator. I said, they don't have no food in the refrigerator. What you talking about? I'm broke.
Yeah, we got food.
Man, food.
Decoration.
Yeah, I know. My goodness. That's a box. That's all that is. What you talking about?
Put some magnets on the front.
Yeah, my dad was like, now you see what I'm talking about when I used to say, cut those lights out.
There we go.
You walk out of the room.
Yeah. Life lesson, right?
Yeah.
Set you up for that one.
Yeah. I tell you what. But I struggled through that, finish school. And let me tell you what kept me motivated. I went for my certification for nursing assistant. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, let me get out of KFC. Mm-hmm. Let me get a nursing assistant job. So I did. I worked there for about a year at Rikers. Mm-hmm. Pulling and pushing on patients. Okay. It was a good thing. I was still getting the honest check. Right. But I tell you what, I remember, and this is what kept me focused, almost at 11 o'clock, I would see these ladies. They looked like they were all old, holding their bags, walking in. They were nursing assistants. Mm-hmm. And I said, I can't walk in their shoes. Wow. I can't do that. My dad, all right, I'm one of those visual people. Right. But at the same time, I'm so young, my dad was like, okay, whatever you do, when you see something wrong, don't walk in the person's shoes. So I used to always take that literally, like, I can't walk in their shoes because I'm going to be just like that. So I used to see the old lady walking in and come to find out they weren't that old. They were like 40, 50 years old. Oh, wow. They were country old. Right. I ain't never seen that like that before. They were country old. I said, country old, good Lord. I said, how old? Girl, I got a teenager. I said, a teenager? I ain't think, oh my God.
I thought you was at least 70.
What? I thought you had a hump. I was like, no, it's no way. Right. But anyway, it wound up, like I said, that kept me focused because I was like, I do not want to walk in those shoes. And one thing I can't stand is I can't stand to be broke. Mm-hmm. I realized that when I ain't had no food in my refrigerator and I was trying to figure out how I was going to pay my lights.
That's right.
I don't like to be broke.
It's a terrible feeling.
Oh my goodness, what?
Terrible feeling.
Oh man, but it's funny because when you're broke, I mean, you know you're broke, but you just kind of manage.
Yeah.
You manage, and then when you look back, when you finally get a little bit of money, you say, "How in the world did I?"
How did I make it?
How did I make it?
But you know what? I don't know. Something gave me because I was skinny as I don't know what. I was like, man, I tell you what, I obviously wasn't eating. I must have just been like sipping on things or whatever.
Drinking soup or something. That'll get you through.
I'm like, man, I should have stayed at KFC. At least I got some free chicken.
Right. You know, the lunch break, you get your free 2-piece or something like that.
Dude.
Yeah.
My dad used to be like, all right, now how you gonna, I'm sorry, I'm getting off the subject, but how you gonna call somebody job? Now, listen here, you mind bringing back some 10-piece with mashed potatoes and gravy? How you putting in an order after hours? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how you, look, now make sure you get those biscuits and they having corn left. I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I'm walking home with a big old cart because of the fact that I got family that's calling me up for orders afterwards for chicken.
Right. Yeah, I would probably
every
do that
day.
well if it was.
Every day.
I'd probably do that.
I would go in the refrigerator and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's chicken. I mean, it was chicken. Like, well, we're going to have some chicken soup. We're going to have some chicken pie. We're going to have some chicken. I said, oh my goodness. I said, y'all going to be chicken out. But guess what they still eat? Chicken.
Absolutely.
To this day.
Yeah.
But you know, I still eat chicken to this day. I ain't going to lie.
So after you made the transition from getting into that nurse practitioner or nurse area, like what was the motivation then after you kind of got
scared of the word? Say practitioner.
I got through it. Yeah, we got through it. Nurse practitioner. I can say it.
Let's go.
Right, let's go. So after you got to that particular point, what was the motivation to then move on to that next step? And what was the goal after you got to that first step?
I would say, let me, as far as nursing, finish with that part. I graduated with my LPN. And then I went back to school to finish up with my RN.
Okay.
So, of course, you know, my whole thing is I can't just be just a nurse. I got to be great. Mm-hmm. Anything I do, I got to work on it to be the best that I could possibly be.
Sound like you would be.
That's got to. Right. Because there's no need for me to just be just anybody. I got to be somebody.
That's right.
I want people to remember who I am.
She's a pilot.
You know what I mean? So my main thing was always be a leader, never a follower.
Absolutely.
So when I started with, what was it? I think I started in oncology. I worked with cancer patients. Ooh, that was some hard work. Worked with cancer patients, went from there, and then I wound up going into critical care. Critical care, I stayed in there for, I think, 4 or 5 years, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I enjoyed that. Then I left from critical care and went to a step-down unit. That step-down unit is like right before you get to ICU. So I became a nurse educator. So my thing was, you know, if I'm going to do something, I gotta be able to help whoever I possibly could.
Right.
So anytime they had any USC students, any student that came in through Providence Hospital, they came in through me. So I, if they wanted to go to the unit, they had to come to our unit first, and then we kind of get them trained up, and they were able to go to like, you know, a higher level of care. So that part was enjoyable. Then I was like, "That's still not enough. Mm-hmm. I'm still not making a major impact." So this is when, you know, I really was like, okay, I'm on my path, and I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to be a nurse practitioner. Right. Well, before doing that, there was a job opening on the same floor that I worked at. Here I was training all these nurses. So the position came open for a manager position on that floor. Okay. So they told me, the first supervisor was like, no. We're just going to go ahead and, you know, give it to her because the fact that she's been working. Well, you have other people in the pie.
Right.
That don't look like me. Mm-hmm. That wanted their friends to have something. Okay. Right. So they wound up getting in touch with another young lady and asked her to apply for the position. So, of course, now here I'm having to apply for a position that I haven't worked for, 6 years on a unit, and this other person's never worked on a unit. Right. So the funny part, and I call it funny because here I went for the interview, and they didn't realize I was standing outside the door. Mm-hmm. When I was standing outside the door, there were several people that were in there that I know personally, mm-hmm. and was like, "Oh, who's up next? Oh, it's Prunetta. Oh, yeah, she's not getting the job. We're not giving it to her. We're just doing an interview just because of the fact that we have to do the interview." And I'm sitting up back there. Okay. When they walked out the door to see who was next, or if I was out there, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, I'm here for that interview.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, needless to say, I didn't get the job. They called me up and was like, no, we still want you to be like an educator. And I said, okay, alrighty. The next week, I was called by another location, and they asked me to be an administrator for the 3 largest hospitals in Columbia. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now how?
That door closed.
What?
Open up.
We talking about a manager position, and now I'm an administrator.
Come on.
I said, I'm gonna take a little sip. I said, all right now, I'll take it. Now, of course, I had to go through a whole step. I had to go through, speaking to all kinds of higher officials, administrators. It took like 3 or 4 interviews before you can actually get the job. Because it's like you had to go through steps to pass everything.
Correct.
It all worked out. So I started enjoying that, and at the same time, I was taking classes to be a nurse practitioner. So that part became like, hey, okay, I'm gonna work here. I'm gonna, go to school. So it was times when I felt like I wasn't even going to sleep. I was working nights, 7 to 7. Leaving from there, and people know, they always just like, how in the world do you do this? I would leave from there, and I would go to clinicals, be in clinicals all day, and finally get to go home, get some sleep for a short period of time, and then go right back to work. Then it was time for my son to travel. He traveled pretty much throughout all over. He was at LSU, all these different places, and I had my little computer with me to try to go to school. And people were like, how in the world are you writing papers on the road? I was like, pull up to McDonald's. I need to get this paper sent because I need, Wi-Fi. Yeah. So I'm writing papers I'm doing homework, all kinds of stuff. It was crazy. But like I said, I knew what my focus was, and I knew it wasn't just for me to, just sit still and just be working on the unit as a nurse educator when I knew I can do so much more for more people.
Right.
So I became a nurse practitioner, and I said, okay, I'll work a couple of days, got my position at Apogee, and started working with them. And I was like, okay, this is enjoyable, but I still didn't feel like I was accomplished enough. Like I didn't feel like I was where I needed to be, you know? So we went to TGI Fridays, me and Fitzgerald, and we were sitting down eating. And I said, I want to tell you what I want to do. I said, I've been researching, I've been looking at stocks, I've been looking at all this information on the internet, and that's good, I'm just tell you that.
Right.
But I was like, oh, I want to do something with medical cannabis. I want to be able to, and of course, I was thinking big. I was like, I want a one-stop shop. Man, I said, I want to be able to treat them, get them the medication. And I said, they can go right next door. I said, we have the dispensary, we have the doctor's office, we have we're growing in the back. I was trying to be larger than life.
Right.
Until I realized you can't do all that stuff, and they won't give me all those licenses. And when you got a DEA license, you can't have no drugs. You can't deal with the actual touching the plant and at the same time have a DEA license and you're doing all kind of stuff. Right. So
you got nephews, huh?
That's what I said. I figured I'd get the other ones to do the rest of it, but
business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I figured that was going to be my way into being able to help many people because of course that is like the big thing now. You have medical cannabis, you have, here it's not legal, but it's like, you have CBD, you have, in other locations, you're able to smoke it, you're able to, use the tinctures or whatever, but, whatever you need to do in order to help people that have cancer and all these different things. I got some questions. You really don't want to know anything about this, do you?
Oh, we got for the people.
Okay.
All right. So my first question, right? Do you think that marijuana will ever be legalized in the state of South Carolina?
I'm hoping that we can finally get there. I will tell you that I played a key role in helping to change the way that they had the laws for South Carolina. So I spoke directly with Senator Kemps and myself. He actually called me to ask me what would be the difference in regards to them having the oncologists and neurologists are the only ones that can prescribe medical cannabis. And I said, you must don't want patients to be treated. When was the last time you've been to a neurologist? When was the last time you've been to an oncologist?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, those are all specialists.
Right.
And I said, most of them don't even want to handle medical cannabis. They're already dealing with like the chemo and all those different things, or some other neurology stuff, because you have to take classes to, to learn how to dose and all kind of stuff.
Right.
So I said, that's unfair to patients. It's just not fair. So he was just like, well, they're the ones that can be, changing the medication because it's dealing with the nerves, and you got somebody else dealing with cancer. I said, well, everybody that want to either have medical cannabis don't have cancer. Right?
Right.
Everybody that want to do medical cannabis may not have an issue where they have a stroke or, PTSD or whatever. It may just be that they want to be able to have, they have some anxiety, or they have chronic pain or some other issues.
Right.
I was like, you need to give it to the person that see them every day.
Okay.
Which is the family physicians, family nurse practitioners.
Okay.
Make a difference. So he was like, okay, well, tell me what you think. And you have to know his the way he talks. He's like, I don't know if you ever heard him, but he has this very proper way he talks. And he was like, well, tell me about if I just went to one of the places that's legal, and it's legal, and you can get the medical portion, what would make the difference of me just going and get the other part? And I said, well, not everyone wants to just pick up just, medical cannabis and just smoke it. They want to know, what should I do with it? How should I do it? I have this back pain. What do I need to do? It's not just for recreation. Some people are just not smoking it just to, have fun. Some people will,
So do you think it will be legalized, or?
Well, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't answer the question.
You fine.
I think probably you give it about 2 more years.
2 more years?
I think we'll probably see some changes.
Right. Now, what are the benefits of smoking marijuana? Oh, not necessarily smoking, because you can
medical cannabis. Yeah.
Medical.
Oh, sorry. Why are you judging me, bro? You judging me over there.
Hey, I'm just helping you out. Real quick, did you hit me with the whole practitioner thing? So I'm just helping you out right now.
I'm trying to be abrasive back with it.
Right.
So no. What's the benefits of utilizing?
So the benefit is, I should say, for medical cannabis, the benefit helps many people that have either chronic pain, PTSD, anxiety, cancer. I mean, you name it, blood pressure issues. Wow. The main thing that I am so against is all this narcotics that people are on.
Wow.
You can actually, you can actually help people get off the medication, off narcotics. And actually, of course, I know people say, they're getting off of one just to get on another one. But the main thing is people are on like 4 or 5 different medications. The benefit is being able to get them onto one thing that can help all those things, the anxiety, the PTSD. I mean, I had one patient that came in, I'm on the pack, so I'm on this, I'm on that. And it's like, and all that's for PTSD, anxiety, when you can do one thing.
Right. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to let you know. I promise I'll let you know.
No, we're good.
So, is it the same type of, what do you call it? Like the reaction, or the same type of feeling you get as,
as medication?
As utilizing marijuana?
It's actually better. And the reason why I say that is because the side effects that you get from medication, that stuff has to break down into your system, break down in your liver, break down into your kidneys. And then you got to excrete that. Right. So you're talking about a chemical. We're talking about a plant that came from the earth.
Right. So
the 2 different things is that here you got something that's man-made versus that's made from the earth.
Right. So the cannabis that you prescribe and marijuana is pretty much just the same as that. There's no difference, right?
Now, I will say in South Carolina, of course, we're not legal. So if you were getting medical cannabis here, it would be more of a tablet form. It would be medication that can kind of resemble the medical cannabis that you get from the plant, because it'll have the THC, but of course it's all chemical based. It's nothing natural. I really love working with the actual plant and actually, giving doses for that, because you can regulate so much. You can change the 1-to-1 ratio, the THC versus the CBD. You can say, okay, well, we need to increase this. Then you got different flowers when you're dealing with like the actual cannabis itself. So that's the unfortunate thing. That's why I'm hoping that in South Carolina it becomes to a point where we can actually use the actual flower instead of, prescribing something that is man-made that has the chemicals made up of medical cannabis.
Yeah. So it's certain things, that chemical piece of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to ratchet and like, you know what I'm saying? Like relate like how I know to, you know. Right. The questions I gotta say, is Reggie, you know what I'm saying? Like, are we talking Reggie? Like
So even with that, because one of the things that you hear a lot, especially like when you're looking at commercials and it's whatever these drugs are, I mean, it'll say, okay, this pill is for hair loss, but the side effects will be bleeding from your nose, erectile dysfunction,
right.
like everything underneath
possible
death, and and consult your physician if you have any of these symptoms. So it's crazy. So so when you think about when you have people that maybe have problems with eating and different things like that. Does the CBD and cannabis plant help people with eating disorders and different things like that also?
Actually, both ways. I would say, here in South Carolina, I can actually prescribe the medication that has the THC that'll help build their appetite. Okay. It actually will help for that person that's having difficulty with eating, difficulty with a lot of vomiting and all those different things. Of course, if we were, in other places that I'm licensed at, I can give better benefit, I should say, because if it's where they need to rest and sleep, and I want to also treat to make sure that they're eating something, I can actually change the way that I prescribe the medication for them. Because the one that I have here is just one way. It's going to help you with, your sleep patterns. It's going to help you with nausea and vomiting. But if you had it the other way, I can say, okay, we want some sativa so I can have you, have some energy. All right, I'm gonna have you or relax. I'm gonna change this one. I'll make sure you have this, during the day. I'll make sure you have this at night so you can relax. Right. So it's like you can change it back and forth to kind of help the patient, Awesome. But the sad part is I'm hoping that in South Carolina that people come together, because they said that this is the worst drug ever. And that was the thing that they said. This is the worst drug ever. Now I'm just tell you, I work in the hospital. You know what I see coming every day? People dying of heroin,
opioids, and all of that.
Yeah, I just heard on the radio as I was driving over here. Now y'all get this. They just opened up a center where people can come and get high off of heroin, and it's a doctor there that will monitor you. And as you're getting high, they will give you the medication, which is normally, something to reverse it and prevent you from overdosing.
That is insane.
Yeah.
They're even teaching kids nowadays. The pharmacy will give it to the families, teach the children how to help their parents if they see that they're having an overdose. You're talking about children,
right?
You want the child to be devastated to help save their parent. I mean, what kind of stuff?
We don't want to stop them from actually doing it. We don't want to deal with the problem. We just medicate. And that was one thing I saw they were doing, and I don't know if it was here, but it was I think it was a Netflix special or something I saw where they were. I think it might have been in Detroit and some of the other big cities, but they would have the cops and the ambulance help the people that were dealing with the opioids and not arrest them.
Yeah.
And with us, I remember growing up in the crack era, and you had it.
And where were you going?
You going to jail.
Okay, all right. That's what I'm trying to say.
There's going to be no help.
No.
We're not going to help you to the place and help you to the hospital. You going to jail, and if you die on the way, then you die.
Yeah.
If you overdose, if you eat it, whatever, you're going to die.
Exactly.
So it's kind of crazy when you think about that. So that's, I don't know. Is it a big business in the opioid piece and the prescription piece? Is that why they don't want to change things up?
The thing is, it's big business with medical marijuana too, because of course we don't have it in South Carolina. We just we're just gonna be broke down here. I guess I don't know. That's what they're trying to do. But anyway, can I say that on television?
Please.
Pause right there. Perfect. Okay, great. So one of the things too that we wanted to just talk about with the medical marijuana is how it can help people with different like Parkinson's and different things like that. Because we saw a special where the person did the medical marijuana and they were able to walk better, feel better, perform better. So I mean, I know. Can you kind of talk about that in your training on how you can prescribe to that and some of the benefits?
Yeah. Before you say that, right? Like I was just thinking though, like. Because we got it in our minds is like such a bad thing. So it's like also too, how do you get that person to understand like this can help you?
That's the challenge, and I think that's where the stigmatism comes from, where a lot of people think, okay, well they said marijuana is so bad, but they put that in your head for so long that you're so used to, you talk about marijuana, it's like, talking about something that's, like crack cocaine, that's terrible, or AIDS or something like that. But the whole point is that medical marijuana can help people with Parkinson's, all these different diseases. And it's proven fact that we've seen so many people using the medical marijuana in, like, for example, Parkinson's.
Correct.
They use this medication. I call it medication because that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's natural medication. And the reason why it helps and it's a benefit is because cannabis, or I should say the THC, works on the nervous system. And that's what people don't realize. It works on the nervous system. So when you start balancing the THC with the CBD, then you get more of the relaxation portion, and you also get more of the part that calls with the inflammation. It reduces the inflammation. Okay. The more for people with Parkinson's, the more THC they get, the more relaxed their nerves get, and they can start getting calm. It's like having coffee, and then all of a sudden you start chilling out.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
But how we get rid of that whole concept of people thinking it's so bad, and it's so funny because it's like the new generation. They're like, what? Give me some of that medical marijuana. Give me some of that, give me some of that. I'll take some of that. I think it's the older generation that they've gotten so used to being like the wrong thing to do.
Right.
That I think the way to kind of build it up is just educate. I mean, the more you continue to educate, the more they see it on television. Of course, they still thinking it's almost like, just like how you see guys and girls, boys and girls, girls and girls or whatever, making it seem like we're trying to make it okay. Right. But this is something totally different. I mean, this is something that always has been natural. Right. And whenever the government feel like they can make some money off of something, then things change. When they feel like, and I'm saying money because the money is not in selling the marijuana. The money was actually locking people up and putting them in these prison systems for little small little dime bags. And here, most of them was not anyone that looked like Janie, Sue. Yeah. Amber. Yeah. They
look like us.
They look like us.
So Cody can go either way.
He's a light skin.
Light skin boy. Yeah, I'm going downtown if they see me with it. But no, I'm programmed to run.
They hear Cody. They hear Cody like, nah, we let him go. We let him go, guys.
Right. The name just sounds rings a bell or something. I don't know.
He's okay.
Yeah. But that's the sad part is because when you look at how many young fellas are in prison today because of something that was so, and even if they did get out, their lives are messed up.
I know they're starting to legalize it, and these guys still sitting behind the prison walls.
And I just read,
gotta be painful.
I read an article. They said that they were releasing. Oh goodness, where was this at? Was this California? They were releasing, a whole bunch of people from prison, and they were saying, "Oh, we're going to expunge their record." I said, "Well, shoot, the boys have been in there ever since they were doggone teenagers, and now you're trying to let them out at the age of 30? What are they going to do with themselves?" They still at that same age at 17. Their mind hasn't developed anything else except for prison life. But you want to release them, and then wonder why they probably going to go back. What they going to do?
See, that was just good.
No program set up.
Right. 100%.
Oh, we did it. We let you go.
Right.
But then you put any steps.
What kind of program do you have?
Correct.
And that's the part, of course, we can get on to this all day long because when I start talking about medical cannabis and, the what I actually see with our young men or even older men, because we're talking about people that have been in prison for years because of medical, now it's called medical marijuana, sorry. during the time it was called
reefer.
Weed charges.
weed. You know, I mean,
You smoke that reefer, boy?
right. That's what my daddy said. Women gonna get some of that reefer. But I mean, you know, you just think about everything that's taking place nowadays. You know, everything is now starting to be, you know, legalized. When I was in California, because that's where I got all my training as far as with medical marijuana. I tell you what, of course, because it's legal on both ends, medical and, you know, and recreational. I mean, everyone I walked past smelled like a weed, but I was like, how you still talking and walking? I was like, that stuff is so strong. And I mean, they got that good stuff out there. I was like, good Lord.
It sounds all right.
Man, you only have to smoke it. Just be like, oh, no, yeah, what you got? Yeah. So if they test me, I'm just like, look, it was contact. You know, I was standing next to somebody. That's all it was, and that would definitely be true. Right. But when I say California, I think everyone out there smoked.
Right.
Everyone. Oh my goodness.
But you know, one thing I wanted you to kind of touch on is you know, when you talked about having all of your training and stuff like that in California. I mean, you wanted to, you know, you humble. And talking about it, but I want you to, you know, let's say it. Let's say you're on the leading forefront and being called to be a panelist for certain things that are big in this industry on how you can help people overcome different illnesses and ailments and things like that. So please talk about the upcoming, I don't know the board, but the actual event that you're being called to be.
I appreciate you bringing that out. Yes, it's the CNNC, which is for Cannabis Nurse Network Conference. So I was sent a letter about 2 weeks ago, and they actually picked me as one of their lead speakers for the conference. So what they normally do is they have people come from all over Hawaii, California, Florida, all different places in order to speak at this conference. It is actually the first conference ever for the cannabis conference.
Wow. Okay.
For medical.
Can anybody attend? Is it open to the public?
It's open to the public. I mean, you know, as long as you got those dollars, it's open to the public.
Oh, wow. Just to get educated. Like,
yeah. So normally this is more science-based because a lot of stuff is like research. So they normally do like, you know, it's more of helping people in regards to in the health industry. And of course, they do have stuff out, you know, like for, you know, recreational things. You know, they have that on the outside as far as like people set up with booths and everything. But no, you can definitely come. I mean, it's people that come from all around. I think it was one lady, maybe two that didn't have any kind of health, you know, background, but they wanted to learn about it because they wanted to be a bud tender. You know what bud tenders are, right?
I don't.
Okay. So a bud tender is a person that is educated in all your buds, all your marijuana leaves, you know, what it can do for you, you know, what's the benefits, those kind of things. It's just not on the medical side.
Okay.
That make any sense? So they're educated, they come there to get the knowledge to understand, hey, for cancer, you know, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. For this, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. You get to meet people that are, you know, that are farmers that's actually, you know, growing this stuff. Or
any farmers that look like us?
Actually, that's the funny part. When I went 2 years ago, it was only 5 of us that were Black.
Wow. And
they were amazed because it was only one that was there, I guess, the year prior. And it was, we came, one girl was from Atlanta. Another girl was from California. Another girl was from Louisiana. And of course, we all kind of like sat together or whatever, because it was like, oh my goodness, we're out of everyone, we're the only ones that were there that, you know, look like us.
Right.
And I said, you know, my concern was, I think everyone should be educated. And I think that was the other thing I helped to enforce in regards to the law, is I think everyone should be educated, and it should be a nurse or nurse educator inside these dispensaries to educate patients on what they're getting, to make sure that they know, hey, if you're trying to do, you know, take care of this is the best benefit for you. Not just the person that's a bud tender, because they only know one thing. You know, they know the plant, they know what it can do, but the science part behind it, you know, having that person that's an educator. So that was one thing that I wanted to lead. So that was one thing I was able to, you know, address for the bill.
That's right.
And I had a lady, she was like, that'll never happen. You would never get that down, and getting someone to be educated and enforcing that. And I was like, oh, that's going to happen. I said, I'm going to try to press for that. She was like, that would never happen. That would never happen. That was written in the bill. I mean, even though it didn't pass, but that was written in the bill for South Carolina that in every dispensary, there would have to be someone to educate each person that was getting this medication so they'll know exactly what they were getting. And they had somebody to call back on.
That's very
somebody to be educated about it.
Right.
So now I get to go up on the stage, and hopefully that young lady is out there and sitting out there, and I'll actually be able to say, hey, I helped make history. Because I think in another state, they made it legal, but guess what they did? It has to be a nurse in every dispensary in order for them to open up. You have to have an educator to educate patients.
Oh man,
that's true.
That is
in a major way.
It is.
So the one thing is, education is always key. That's how I always look at it. We shouldn't be to a point where we just kind of shut ourselves down like, that medical cannabis, nobody needs it. They just hyping everything up. It's all about making money. Don't get me wrong. Yes, you can make some money doing medical cannabis. But the whole point is look at the benefit. We're talking about people that are sick with cancer. We're talking about people that are sick with Parkinson's disease, people that have anxiety, PTSD, people that's on all this medication, narcotics, running around here acting a fool. Some people just need to sometimes just want to chill out.
Maybe
just want them to chill out,
relax.
Now, I think someone else asked me about, I don't know, what they call it, brownies?
The edibles.
Yeah. Someone asked me about the edibles, and they touched base on that too. If you were to come out in California, I have to have you guys. Y'all can. I'll send you information. Y'all can.
We'll be kind
of think about if y'all want to come. It's in San Diego. It's September 3rd through the 4th. I want to say.
Perfect.
So.
I heard it on the podcast week, so the 4th I'm out.
Yeah, we coming. We gonna come.
I gotta be there. I gotta be security, so I'm just saying. Right.
So the nice part is, and it's so funny because I know when I went, and of course they take you to like the dispensaries just so you can see and get the feel of everything, And me and another girl was just like, we can't even touch it because they probably discard us or send us back home. When we get back home, they're probably going to ask to just touch our skin or something. Or let me just touch. You know how they do it at the airport? Like, let me just touch you, see if you got a little something on you. But like, man, I'm telling you, we didn't touch it. I'm telling you, we didn't touch it. Somebody else was like, oh, you can send that stuff back. I said, man, I ain't getting caught with that stuff going through the airport. That's all I need. Shoot.
Yeah. Right. You get caught up on your way.
Man, change. Yeah. Change the narrative. Like you always want to be great.
Yeah. We're going to change it that way, not that way.
Exactly.
So definitely, I want you to touch on the Bhang Group and being the CEO, being a Black woman CEO of, Family Urgent Care Facility here in Columbia. Please just, give that information out. Talk about what you guys, because there was some innovative things that Fitzgerald and us talked about. So please just open it up about the Bhang Group and what you guys are doing.
So, like I always told you, I always got to be different. I can't walk in everybody's shoes. But my whole thing is I want to be able to reach anyone and everyone I possibly can. Right. Anything I can try to make affordable for someone, any way I can try to help someone. Yes, of course, it's a business. But at the same time, it's ways and means of being able to give that knowledge, that education to someone, medications, seeing patients, and not having to be so expensive. Because there's so many patients here nowadays that don't have insurance, have high deductible, self-employed. South Carolina is like one of the biggest states for self-employment.
Correct.
So people don't carry insurance, and they run to either the emergency rooms, the hospitals, or doctor's care or those type of places or whatever. And it's very expensive. So the one thing that we sit down and when I told Fitzgerald, I was like, I want to do something where I can reach people and they don't even have to leave the comfort of their home. Right. So we started the Bhang Group where everything is online. Well, I shouldn't say everything. You can be seen in person as well. But it's the convenience of you having an iPhone, a laptop, being able to have your what they call the
registration,
paperwork, you don't have to have any paper. Everything is all everybody digital. Everyone is like walking around with their phones in their hand. You get sick, you don't have to leave home. You get sick, you're at work, you can't leave. You can go ahead and just make an appointment online. www.thethanggroup.com. That's THEB as in boy HANGGROUP. So you can go online, pick your appointment, or I always say pick me as a provider because it's me and another physician that's on there. Pick me as a provider, pick your time, and it allows for you to either call me, where it's like, okay, well, maybe you don't have a iPad or something. And I thought about that because I said it was an elderly lady that was like, well, what if I don't have a computer? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I got to think about what I'm going to do for them. So I figured the phone.
That's awesome.
They can call me on the phone. Of course, there's certain things I can't do, because it's only by phone. But if I can reach and try to help them, maybe even get them to the best location or something like that, then at least they're calling me and I can do that. Right. Or they can see me virtually, which is face to face. It's just like face talk, just like how you have on your phone on your iPhone. You can talk to me. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Right. Kind of thing. I need some medical cannabis. I'm just saying. So they can wind up calling me, and I'm going online. We set up the appointment. We see each other virtually. I send your prescriptions electronically. You never left your house. Bye-bye. And they're off.
Is that now? What about in a case of emergency? So
in a case of emergency, of course, we always tell people to call 911 or you need to go to your nearest emergency room. But that's even times when they may not know, is this an emergency? Right. They may just need to call in and get some guidance. I'm there. That's not even a charge. It's just more of being able to say, hey, is this something that I need to be seen for? Or is this something that I probably can take care of on an outpatient basis? Mm-hmm. And we can try to give you that direction. Now, the nice part is when you hear about, urgent cares, the ER, when you start looking at the comparison and prices, you may have the ER, you're spending about $5,000. You're not coming out there like, with a $100 bill. You spending some money when you go up in there. Correct. When you go to like an urgent care or a doctor's care, you're spending about $120, $150. They want their money up front.
Yeah, up front.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the difference in hours. For an online visit, it's $50. For an in-house visit, when you come into the office, it's $65. So you can't beat those prices because of the fact that we're just affordable. We make it very affordable because of the patients that we're dealing with. Right. That we're not trying to rob you. We're just trying to take care of people. And like I said, I always want to be great. I always want to make sure that I make an impression on people because I want to be able to take care of you effectively as much as I can. Right. So my main thing is diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and kidney disease. Because who do you see in these dialysis clinics? Yeah. And we see our it's us. We see our people all the time. Mm-hmm. And then not only that, when you talked about the affordable piece of it, we're going into the dialysis centers and then we're racking up and paying all these big, huge salaries. And you have to do all that. With all these fees. Preventative medicine. Yeah. If all we have to do is just take care of ourselves. And the thing is, if we take care of each other, like if you're like, man, go and get your blood pressure checked. Right. Go and get your high, you got high cholesterol in your family. Go and get your cholesterol checked. Go and get your A1C checked. Right. That's the main thing is being able to educate people, that look like me. And I'm not saying that that's the only people I treat because I treat everyone. Right. But I'm just saying that, a lot of times the patients that come in, they look like me. Right. And of course, I want to be able to help. That's what I see in the hospital all the time. And I'm talking, oh my gosh, I'm talking about people your age, younger, coming in with kidney disease, needing dialysis, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I need dialysis, or yeah, I get my treatment on. In their 20s. They're in their 20s. And especially in Orangeburg.
What's the cause of it?
High blood pressure, diabetes. It always fail. Your kidneys fail. Whenever your diabetes is out of control, you get dehydrated. And guess what gets dehydrated? Your kidneys.
Wow. What causes the...
high blood pressure?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so when your blood pressure is out of control and here your vessels are very, very tight and here nothing's circulating, guess what regulates your blood pressure? Your kidneys. Wow. And when you're not keeping that balance, your kidneys are steady trying to either balance out, either trying to release some of the fluid to try to drop your blood pressure. And your blood pressure stays up 200 and something for a long time. Wow. It starts to kill your kidneys.
So how can you take care of your kidneys and prevent kidney disease? So
the best way is preventative medicine. Number one, making sure you take your blood pressure medicine. Well, first of all, you got to come in to be seen.
Be seen first, okay.
You got
all right.
And these young, don't think you're Superman, thinking because of the fact that you're young, I'm young, I'm a stud and everything. I got time and everything. Okay, I'm just telling you what I see when people come in and they look just like you and they're in their 20s, some of them they got time, but then all of a sudden it's like, well, my kidney's dead. But they've been drinking alcohol and not hydrating. Because think about when you drink some alcohol. you know how you feel like that dry cotton mouth and all kind of stuff. Just think about what your kidneys feel like.
Well,
I always try to, kind of give like a.
that's a very good example.
So for our people who do like their indulgence in alcohol, how can they
hydrate?
So they gotta hydrate.
You know how they always used to be like, oh man, you better drink some water before we hang out or whatever. Drink all day. You know you're gonna be drinking all night. You already know.
Right.
You know you're going to hang out.
Right. And I think that's what we lack, the education part.
The education portion. And that's why I said that's my biggest thing is I want to be able to educate as many people as I possibly can. So I've done several, I've been invited to speak at different seminars. So I've been at like women empowerment, another event where they had me talking about healthcare and how to prevent. Those are my main things that I always talk about is high blood pressure, making sure you just get yourself checked. Just come and get your blood pressure checked.
Right.
If your blood pressure is high, we'll put you on some medication. Medication nowadays is cheap.
Right.
I mean, you could be on something and it only cost you maybe $7 to get it from the pharmacy.
Oh, well, that's good.
$7 versus your kidney failing and even the kidney.
Right.
I mean, right, exactly. Yeah. Preventative medicine. Come and get your A1C check. Your A1C normally checks your diabetes. See whether or not if your A1C is high, then that means that we need to get your blood sugars down. You regulate everything because obviously you're now diabetic.
Right. So something's off somewhere.
Yeah.
When an individual come in to see you, is it still affordable? Is it still?
Oh yeah, it's still affordable. When they come in to see us, is like I said, if they come in, it's a $65 visit. But what that visit will do is I can check your A1C, I can check your blood pressure. I will prescribe you your medication for 90 days, just like I would normally do. We'll check your labs.
Right.
You're not going to get that anywhere else where we set the precedence in regards to the price.
Okay.
We're not trying to rob somebody. I want to take care of people. I want to try to prevent people from having these. I want to prevent people from being in all these dollars. I'm a big advocate about, trying to help because all I see, I will say a bunch of African American young men with kidney disease.
Goodness.
So, who wants to say, okay, now what's the name of this? What's the name of this real estate agency?
Burris and Presley Realty.
Okay. So, if you were to say, okay, well, I'll meet up with you later on. I got to head to Dallas at 6 o'clock in the morning. I got to be there at 6 o'clock, and then I'll meet you. And you got to do that 3 days out of a week.
Yeah, that's insane.
And you're only 20-something years old, 30-something years old.
Yeah.
So we got to prevent that, educate people.
Yeah. Right, it's pretty heavy.
Yeah. That's a whole nother lecture.
On a lighter note.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a whole nother lecture. That almost sounds like, drum. Man, my kidney's dead. Oh, my God.
So, listen, as we get ready to kind of wrap up and get out of here, there's a couple things that we always do on our show, right? We ask you to name 3 points on how you're changing the narrative. Hold on. We gonna keep rolling?
No,
okay, cool.
I'm tripping.
All right, so what we do when we get ready to head out is we want you to give 3 points on how you're changing the narrative in your business, your personal life, and in the community.
Okay. All right. So let me just start with, I guess, personal life. My main struggle has been weight loss for myself. So because I want to be able to educate others, I know I also have to be an example myself. Right. So it is very hard. I mean, I never want to make it seem like it's so easy to lose weight, but knowing all the ins and outs, the benefits and the pros and cons, I know it would be best for me. So for me to do that, I spill it over into the business portion where, being able to, I should say between the two, actually for the community and for business, is being able to educate as many people as possible within the community to bring them into the business so that I can actually be a benefit in the light of whether education, helping them with their medications, regulating things, and also, people that have issues with wanting to know more about medical cannabis. I'm here, being able to show them within the community that it's not a bad name, So when it becomes legal, hey, I'm here. I'm the first one here in South Carolina that's certified to do medical cannabis.
Awesome.
Dope.
Go ahead.
Dope.
So as far as the people that's watching, they need to find you. Are you on Instagram, Facebook, the website? I want you to put that out again if you can.
Yeah. So it's www. The Bhang Group, TheBhang group.com. We're located at 1320 Main Street, Suite 300. Mm-hmm. That's right down there by the Capitol. So we're down in the city. Anyway, we're down in the city, and actually, I don't think it's too many African American women down in city of Columbia that have a practice. I think I'm the only one actually on Main Street. But our number there is 803-724-1250. And normally, if you have my business card, I always give them my cell phone number because I like to make people feel like it's concierge service. So you never have to feel like you don't know who I am.
Oh, that's great.
Everything is all personalized. You know, when you're coming to us, it's all concierge service, like the rich folks.
Right.
You know, you feel like you have your own doctor at your hand, at your standby.
That's great.
So we have two apps. One is called On Patient. That one allows you to see your all your information as far as your patient care, your labs online. It also allows you to make appointments from there as well. And then we have another app called Next Patient. Next Patient is just more downloading the app just so you can be able to talk to me virtually.
Okay.
We take all types of payment, whether you're using your credit card to cash to check, and also health spending cards.
I thought you was gonna say EBT. Yo.
I'm not there yet. Now, back in the day when I told you I was about this skinny and I had $720 of bills, I probably would have been glad to take that EBT.
Yeah. No.
But I gotta ask you guys some questions. Y'all have me all these questions. I'm so excited because it's always nice to see find African American men running a business, being successful. So now that I know that you guys are here, so tell me a little bit about what y'all do here. Is it more just in the community here, or y'all located in other locations, or what's? I'm so excited.
No, go ahead. I'll let you go.
Are you gonna give us it?
Yeah, please, man. Yeah.
Wow, thanks, man. We need to get you here more often. Oh, the meaning change.
Changing the narrative.
That's it. See?
So we do a few different things. So I'm a licensed real estate agent, and I'm also the COO of Birds and Presley Realty. Todd Simon here is the preferred lender. I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong?
No, you say. Okay,
you can say all that when you get to that point.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to talk.
Go ahead.
I didn't know you had a script for me. So we, our main, what we do every single day, with changing the narrative, we help people in real estate. So we help people buy their homes for the first time. We help them invest in real estate. We educate people pertaining to real estate. So that's what we do every day, 24 hours on the clock.
Okay.
So changing the narrative is the podcast is basically it's a segment, it's a part of who we are. So we wanted to get a platform to where we can speak to people and have dialogue like this, and educate people, bring different guests, and create a platform so that your voice can be heard with the following that we have, and just in general, and here in South Carolina, starting out. So that's in a nutshell, that's kind of
pretty nice.
Yeah, kind of what we do.
I can see how as far as like what you guys are doing as far as like helping people get their first home, because we also have wellness plans, and I always tell people, and I think we were just telling someone this, the amount of money that people sometimes spend on insurance, like when people don't have insurance, or in order to get insurance, they got paid $200 to $400 a month, and they got these high deductibles and all. And I'm like, save that money, go and put that down on a house, because you're wasting. I shouldn't say you're wasting your money but most of the time, young people don't use their insurance like they're supposed to, but. It would also, whenever you're talking about helping people buy their homes, their first homes, that's money that they can use to be able to purchase their first home. So that's interesting. Now, I think you're the preferred
so I'm
lender,
actually the lender of the ship. So when it comes to looking at the credit, when it comes to getting the clients pre-qualified to buy the home, that's the portion that I handle, me and my team, Digital Mortgage. So it's Team Impact at Digital Mortgage. We're the preferred lender for Birds and Presley Realty. So, we just deal with that portion of helping clients. And my background is working on real estate. Working on Wall Street and banking and finance. So, we're coming back home. I'm originally from here, military as well. help our community and help our people grab a piece of that American pie and that corner of real estate to say how I can take it to the next level. A lot of times we hear it, we hear that word, how can I take it to the next level? But what we do here is we show our people how to take it to the next level. We don't leave anybody behind.
Right,
even if it takes a year, 6 months, 8 months, if you're not ready when you first come to us, we put you on a plan to help you become mortgage ready. And that's what we do in a nutshell as a team.
100%.
And yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Y'all making a difference. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. You got to be great.
I'm telling you, I'm ready to go.
He was in the mirror talking some my.
I walk around all day ready. I'm ready for the camera to lose. Let's go.
I was there, but I was just visiting. I wanted to see the bull on the street. That's all I wanted. Right, exactly. I was, and then I came home. Then I came home and I was like, I'm gonna get a little piece of that pie. I'm gonna, invest.
Yeah. So all of that, man. So man, I'm just gonna put this in the atmosphere before we go. You're gonna see some huge things coming from changing the narrative. Burson Presley Realty. My team at Digital Mortgage and the Bhang Group, we're gonna change the city.
100%.
We're gonna come up with some plans, some wellness plans on how we can help everybody save money in healthcare costs and different things like that, and we're gonna show you how to invest it. That's what we're gonna do.
Let's do it.
That's what we're gonna do. Changing the narrative. We out.
Came in the game and took notes. Hopped on the wave and kept it afloat. Running my lane. Smile for the pick when I'm winning. Hussein. Build something up, then I flipped it.